Yeah.
All right.
Well, exactly. And it's good to see you.
Nice to see you too. See you guys.
Yep. I know we missed a date, possibly going to Big Bear and hanging out, but things always work out and actually finds a way. So it's good to have you. Good to see you, and also wanna say, knowing that you're working with the official call as our co-producer, we also want to thank you and explain to us why you wanted to get involved.
Well, I mean, I thought that was a great thing because I know that, it's hard being a referee or a judge, and they need like coaches to coach them on to being better referees or judges. And sometimes they need to go out. I think you guys have a great system where the judges or the referees are going to different gyms and training these different are practicing with these different fighters, just like fighters do. You guys are going to work out. And I like that idea. And I think that more referees need to do that. And maybe judges too as well. You go in and maybe judge a couple of sparring sessions as well. So I thought that was a great idea. And you guys are the pioneers for that situation. And I think that, they can learn a lot from you guys.
Shane, really appreciate what you're saying. And it's one of the things that and hopefully we can do with the official call is literally bring people into the ring. We want them to be the referee in the ring. We want to present to them certain scenarios, and they're going to be the referee and work through that scenario the way we would work through it, and want to explain to them at the same time why we do what we do and why we do it the way that we do it. Literally to put the people out there in our mind and in the ring with us. That's sort of what we'd like to do, because we think if people understand the game, they understand it better, we educate them more about the game, it's going to make the game more enjoyable for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing thing is because a lot of times a lot of people are judging the fights, but not really knowing the real, technique behind it. You know what I'm saying? They're on the couch saying, "Oh, this guy won, that guy won, or he threw more punches, or whatever the case may be." But at least now they'll have a total idea of what you guys are going through and how you're supposed to referee or judge a fight, not just watching the fight and say, "Oh, I think that guy won because I like him," or whatever it is. They'll know all the different steps of why this person won or why that person won.
Well, I'll tell you this. We are thankful, Shane, that you are on the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also, I like, not only for our viewers, but explain how you initially got started. I mean, what back in your youth got you started and
boxing?
Got you started in boxing?
Well, actually, it was my mother that got me started in boxing. She told my father, "Take your son." Take your son to the gym with you because he got too much energy. You need to burn energy so you can go to sleep. So I started when I was 8 years old. And I did just went to the gym, watched my father spar with I think it was Tony Serta Jr. and he used to spar Mike Weaver a little bit too. Like he helped Mike Weaver out a little bit. And I'll go to the gym and I'll just, hit the bag, speed bag and stuff like that. And pretty soon I just got into it. I started sparring all the other kids. And I loved it because it was one-on-one. And I knew that I determined me winning or losing. So I didn't like the team sports too much because sometimes the kids didn't play as hard as I wanted to play or win. They didn't care about winning like I did. I wanted to win. So So I think that's why I really started, boxing, and because it's 1-on-1, and like when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, I already said I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna be a world champion at 10 years old. So I already put that in my head, in my mind.
So let me, you mentioned that your dad did some sport. Now, was your dad ever a professional boxer?
No, he wasn't a professional fighter, but he fought amateur a little bit, and just went to the gym and kept himself in great shape. And like he knew people like Mike Weaver and Richie Sandoval and it was Tony Serta that had the gym, so we would go there and just train. He was not amateur. I mean, he wasn't a professional fighter, but he was a fighter that he was a gym fighter, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So. He was older, so he didn't get a chance. He didn't start young like I did.
Right.
You fought one of the greats of the game.
Right.
And I believe that you met him both as an amateur and a pro. What do you contribute your success against De La Hoya to? Because I believe you beat him both as an amateur and a pro.
Yeah, I beat him as an amateur too. I believe that the success with beating Oscar was my footwork. My feet were really fast, and we both had good hand speed. But I think that I was able to move away from his shots because my feet were faster. And also knowing his left hook and knowing him as a kid, and growing up with him, I knew exactly what he would do. So I was able to evade a lot of the shots that mostly probably the other guys couldn't do or wouldn't do because they wasn't they wasn't aware of it like I was.
I appreciate that, because one of the things that we often suggest to people, because they see guys got great guns, and everything. Yeah. I tell them, yeah, that's important, but the thing to me most important, and certainly was when in my short career, was footwork, because your footwork allows you to get into the position to throw the shot that you want to take. So footwork is very important, much more important, I think, than having guns.
Exactly, 100%. Yes, I think that my fast feet was one that messed him up, where he couldn't get his left hook off or right hand off or anything because my feet were too fast, and that messed up his whole program. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I was fortunate enough to be in the first fight with Oscar De La Hoya, which was at the Staples Center, correct?
Yeah. You was a referee?
No. I was a spectator.
As was
enjoying the moment. And the thing that I picked up on right away was your hand speed, like you just mentioned, and your ability to move. And like you said, you can offset a guy with just your quickness, your speed, and your ability to move. I thought it was. I'm not going to say it was an easy fight. It was a very highly competitive fight, but edge-wise, with the speed and accuracy that you had and landing your punches, put you far out ahead.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate. To do your first fight, and I remember it. Your first fight as welterweight. You just getting ready to move up to welterweight.
What was his name again? The Puerto Rican.
Was it Pachanga?
Pachanga is a Puerto Rican kid.
Yeah.
But he is coming down from 54 to 47, and I was going up to 47.
Yeah.
It was really good too.
Yeah, and because I remember it was a very competitive fight, right? Because somewhere around 8 or 9, I think your dad went to you, man, I think they got that guy ahead. And you made the adjustment, the end of it was not in doubt. But again, it brings up another point that a lot of people don't think about. But excellent fighters know. Sometimes you have to make adjustments on the fly. You got to make adjustments round to round.
Right. So I knew that I was putting a lot of work in on the bank, I was hitting some good body shots and, the headshots. I was breaking them down. So I knew that we was going to a real fast paced, and I felt his body breaking down. So my father said the fight was close and that, to do something. Then it was like, I was like, okay, I think I can get him out of here because I've been putting a lot of work in and I've been breaking him down. And I was able to trump up the heater just a little bit more, boom, and he couldn't take it. Yeah.
Well, I want to back up a little bit, Shane. And the question I'd like to ask is, when you were in the amateurs, when did you feel that boxing was what you were meant to do? What different weight classes as an amateur did you win? Or I don't believe you went to the Olympics.
No, I was an alternate.
Give us that whole scenario back then when you were.
So when I was 10 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a fighter, and I was very, very strong on that. I wanted to be a champion, world champion. I wanted to be a great. As an amateur, I went through the whole thing, and I was sparring a lot of different world champions, a lot of top professionals in California. So I was very seasoned as a professional fighter before I was like an amateur fighter. I was more of a professional fighter than an amateur fighter, or mentality wise, I should say. So, I was okay. I didn't go to the Olympics, which I thought that I probably could have, but I just, I lost to Vernon, and that was something I had to just suck up. But I knew that profession wise, that this was going to be my thing. And that's why I took it that way. I mean, before I fought for my first world title, I was 23-0 with 22 knockouts, something like that. My first title fight. So I was, I was ready to take on the professional ranks and the professional world of knockouts, because that's what I wanted, was what I liked. Yeah.
I followed you because we was on down in LA then.
Yeah.
You look on a guy. But and I think Kenny brings up a good point, because you took some people got the high road. They went to the Olympics, they got the big contract. And I know you kind of went up the low road, so to speak.
Yeah.
You work your way up, because I've worked with you in Pomona and Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Way to get to where you got.
Right.
Was the fact, did that play at all into your mindset? These guys got it easy. I got to really grind to get there. Did that make a difference for you?
Well, what happened with me was that I knew that I didn't have a plan B or C, B in life, to do anything else. Boxing was my thing. That was it. Plan A. I wasn't trying because I didn't want to do it. I mean, I worked jobs and did all kinds of different stuff, but that's not what I want to do in life. In life, I want to be a world champion. I want to be great. And so I didn't care if I had to take the hard road, and it wasn't like, oh, I had to take the hard road, so I'm going to do it. No, I was like, I'm going to knock the door down. They're going to have to come and see me, because I'm not going away. I am not going away. They're going to have to see me. I'm going to be a great. This is what I'm destined to do. That was my mindset. I'm destined for this. So, yeah, I'm very, very stubborn, very stubborn. You're going to see me, and I'm going to be the champion. I'm going to be the great. I'm going to be one of the greats. I spar with Zach Padilla, Janiro Hernandez, and Hector Lopez, and all these guys. GP. They had to pay me. I just sparred with them until I got a chance to fight for this world title, because I knew if I was sparring with world champions, and I sparred with these different guys, they can't beat me. If I'm sparring with the best, and I'm doing it every day, I'm helping them out, they can't beat me. If I get there, so yeah, that was my whole mindset. I'm going to be great. Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna take you back. I did your second fight when you fought Fernando Vargas.
Okay.
A lot of fans don't know that before you even step in the ring, us referees come to the dressing room and give fight instructions.
Right.
I remember going. I remember going to your dressing room. And your dad, Jack, was always present. And I'm starting to go over the rules. And in your first fight with Fernando, apparently there was an accidental headbutt.
Yeah. No. I hit it with the right hand, and his eye got big. It was the right hand.
Yes.
It had to stop me.
That swelled up on his head.
Yeah, it was so big.
Apparently, Fernando was claiming that was a headbutt.
No, it was the right hand. I was in the right hand.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm in the dressing room going over the instructions because I'm doing the second fight. And your dad, Jack, was there, and every time I barely get a sentence out, Jack would put it would stop would kind of stop me from what I was saying to make a point. And when he did it, I stopped. One of the questions he asked was, "But did you see the first fight?" And I said, "Regardless if I saw it or not, this is my fight now. I'm doing it." So I would get to the next sentence on the rules, and then Jack would jump in again. And I know it irritated you because you finally said, "Dad,
just let finish.
referee. Leave him alone.
Let him finish what he got to say."
Let him finish what he got to say. So your dad backed off for about 2 sentences and he jumped right back in.
Yeah. But
but
I was doing some doing some sparring, working with your son.
right.
And your son said to me, and you know something, Mr. Byrd, I really don't appreciate you beating up on my dad. And I said, "What? He said, "Yeah, my dad told me that you were beating up on him." I said, "I know. Do I look like I can beat up on your dad?" He said, "No." He said, my dad said, "The Byrd is strong." You remember that?
Yeah. You back then you was working out or something. I don't know what you was doing, but you pushed me back and threw me back like that. I was like, I don't know what round it was. It's like 8, 9 rounds. Like I was like, "Come on, but you can't keep pushing me. I'm tired as hell already." But you were strong, and you realized how strong you was. I don't know what you was doing, but you were strong.
Now, speaking of your son now, when was it for him watching Daddy, world champion, multiple weight classes? Did he fall in love with the sport? And when he looked at you, Dad, I want to box.
I think that he fell in love with it a little bit later after he got a little older. Because I started him when I was 8 years old, and people kept they kept persuading him against it, right? "Oh, your father did you do it," so he didn't do it for a while. Then he came when he was like 15 years old, and he's like, "You know what, Papa, I want to fight. I want to be a boxer," because he has it in him. And I think that he kind of watched me go through the grind and stuff like that, and knew, like, you know what, I can do this. I want to be a great, and not just because of me, but I think because of himself. I think he wants to just do it, because he wants to prove to himself he can do this, and he can be a world champion. He can be a great, which he can. He has all the ability to do that.
You were trained by your dad. And there's some schools out there that some people believe that's a negative, to have a father and son relationship. What do you feel about that?
I actually think it's a positive, but I think that looking at this, I watch the different fathers that do it. The fathers like my father, that wasn't a real, that wasn't a fighter like that. He's a great trainer. Even like Devin Haney, his father. His father is not really a fighter, but he knows the game and he supports his son. So it's a different thing where they're like working together. You know what I'm saying? I help the father out to be more knowledgeable, the game. 'Cause obviously he's not as knowledgeable as I am, but he's able to bring me in to learn and to give him knowledge so he can get to his son. So he's doing a good job by doing that. And that was kind of like what my father was, right? So if you look at the fathers, they're like Camacho Sr., and then you have Junior, and then you have, Chavez Sr., and then you have Junior, and then you have, even maybe Joe Frazier and Joe Frazier Jr. It's kind of hard, I noticed, for my son to take instructions from me. So that's why I let him. I'll tell somebody else and let them tell him, because it's hard for him. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm a world champion. Everybody looks up to me, and it's like, I'm gonna do it for myself. Whereas for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it for myself. But my father wasn't never a world champion, and Devin Haney, his father's never a world champion, or let's say the Garcias, Danny Garcia's father's not world champion, or Ryan Garcia, so they can be buddies and talk, kind of like what I do with my father. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the difference, and that's the roadblock that I ran into with my son. And you can see the same thing with I'm seeing with what's his name, the one that's fighting Connor Ben and Chris Eubanks. So you can see the difference with his father, Chris Eubanks Sr., which was a great fighter, and then now the junior is kind of like, it's kind of tension in some kind of way, because he's, he has to try to be better than his father, and his father is still like, his father talks really well, and I don't know, it's probably there's some kind of competition going on over there. You know what I'm saying? On for whatever reason. So it just happens. And that's what I see with Shane. Like, Shane loves me very much, and he wants to do everything that I tell him to write and all that stuff, but it's some kind of something, I don't know what it is, some kind of mystery thing that when I say something to him, he's like, oh, it feels like you're sunning me. You feel like you're like, like you're like downing me. Like I'm talking down to him. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking down to you. I'm just telling you, you have to, turn your punches over. You got to throw a jab. You got to move your head. You just, basically stuff that any coach will tell you, but it's coming from me. It's different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, it hurts me a little bit. Like, oh man, I can't talk to him like I want to. So I think it's time to talk to somebody else to talk to him. And that's the difference. There's a difference with being a superstar and then having a son that wants to be, that wants to be a superstar too. So I had to back up and get away. And I'm able to see that, so he can be world champion. I get away. So he could be world champion. He could be great. He could be his own whatever.
Yeah. Well, tell me, Shane, when in your career, when training, since we're talking about training, when the training and as you were working your way up the ranks starts to intensify because of the particular fighters that you were fighting, but what was the regiment as far as, did you spend more sparring in reference to who the fighter was you were going to fight against, or did the road work? I mean, how did the workout intensify in reference to the person that you were going to be fighting against?
Actually, it goes down, and I'm gonna give you a secret. It actually goes down. I'm gonna tell you what goes up though. So what happens is, I remember sparring with Zach Padilla. I don't know you guys know Zach Padilla. He was the welterweight champion of the world, and he broke records throwing punches. And I was like, I used to run 9 miles, 10 miles around the fairground, all that stuff. And then I said, Zach, like, what are you doing? Like, what? I get tired sparring after 6 rounds. And like, what are you doing? Like, how many? You must be running like 12 miles. You must be doing 20 miles, whatever. He's like, no, I only run 3 miles. but we spar 12 rounds a day. Me and Zach will spar 12 rounds a day. And it's like, you're only doing that, but he's doing more gym work. And that's the key. This is what the fighters, the old time fighters would do this. They will shatter about 20 rounds. They will hit the bag. They hit the speed bag. They'll jump rope. They'll do all the different gym work. And then they'll be amazing. You know, they use their knuckles with the small gloves so it build up their form. So they're doing boxing work. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays they're doing all this different type of whatever work. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's not dealing with boxing. It's not boxing muscles. It's different. I can spar with a triathlon and he'll get tired before I will. But I couldn't do what he does, a triathlon, because it's different muscles. So they're working different muscles nowadays. That's the problem. Now, the next thing when you go to the next level is think about all your greats. All your greats, they work hard and everything, but where are they the best at? They're the best right here.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jordan, Kobe, even LeBron, Chavez, Sugar Ray Leonard, all your greats are right here. So this is where you get better. You get better here. You get stronger here. You get stronger in your belief and your will and how much you believe that you can win. You understand? That's where you get better at. And that's where that's kind of what I'm working with Devin or telling Devin, because I know he has already. I'm just saying he has all the wind, the speed, all this stuff, but really the greats are here. This is where you become great. This is where you believe you. Even Floyd, you believe in yourself from here. You're like, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna do this, and you overcome whatever it is in the obstacle that's in the ring. Whatever happens,
got a vision, and then you work toward that vision.
You work to that vision. I mean, think about it. Like we're going 12 rounds. You're 12 fast, hard rounds, right? Like once you get in shape and you do all your body to get to that point, what do you do next? Who wins? Both of you guys are in great shape. Both of you guys go 12 rounds hard and all that stuff, right? You're eating well. You got a camp, all that stuff. Now, what are you going to do? He's this way, you that way. Both of you guys are great. Both of you guys are in great shape. Now, who wins?
Right.
This one wins. This one wins. This one wins now. Because both of you guys are supposed to be ready to go 12 rounds really hard and fast and be in great shape. Both of you guys are supposed to be like that. And you got 2-month cap. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to go 12 fast, hard rounds. Now it becomes here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Here now.
People don't even think that.
They don't think that.
Yeah, physically. Yeah.
Yeah, physically, you're supposed to be going 12 rounds. You're a world champion, and we're on this level right now. Everybody should be going 12 rounds like this.
Yeah.
No problem. I can probably down to 12 rounds right now myself, just moving around with a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? Just walking around the ring, whatever. You know how to move around the ring and do stuff. But now the next thing is going to be, how fast I go. But then it's going to be here, how I do it, how I hit you with the body shot or the head shot, or how I make you, how I mess with your mind. Fade, whatever I'm gonna do, but it's mental.
Shane, we know that you've been in training with Devin, and how things going in that direction.
Man, Devin looks amazing. I mean, he looks really, like I said, it's going to be here. Yeah, what he's going to execute. It's going to be here how he executes. But as far as what he looks like in the gym, like I'm in the ring with him sometimes, I'm like, and we do certain drills. I'm like, oh, don't hit me too hard, don't hit me too fast, because he's really fast. And his footwork is good and everything is great, Like personally, I see him stopping him in like 6 or 7 rounds. And everybody sees Jose, whatever, Ramirez have given him a fit. I just don't see it. I see him stopping airs.
I remember working with him in the gym sparring, and because he's young.
Yeah, 26.
Really, technically, very sound to be as young as he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that stood out to me, just watching him work in the gym, was he listened.
Yeah, he pays attention. He listens to everything. He pays attention and tries to make it perfect. And like 100%, like try to do it the way you're supposed to do it. You know?
Right. A lot of people hear, but
Yeah.
they don't listen.
No, he listens. He's a listener. And he'll sit there for a whole ride. Say, wait a minute. Let's stay on this shot. Let's stay on that one. Let's stay on that one. Let me get that. Let me get that. He want to lock it in. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's locking in body shots. You know, I bring body shots to the equation and different type of hooks and straight right hand, turn the right hand over, you know, like turn the thumb down, doing all that, you know, and locking the arm. Yeah, he's gonna be cracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing we also believe when we talk about listening, the importance of it, especially between rounds.
Right.
If your fighter is not doing what you want him to do and getting hit in a certain way, when he comes back to his corner, you want him to listen to what you got to say, so he don't go out there and take what he took the last round. So listening, like you said, has to be very important.
And the other thing is that you're paying this person to see the things that you don't see.
Right.
And so you know that you don't see why that's going on. And that's why, I mean, why would you pay this person and then not listen to him? That doesn't make sense, you know?
Right.
So if you're doing this and I'm looking at something that you can't see because you focus on something else, and I said, you know, you're doing good, but if you do this, it'll get better. And they listen, then things happen. And that's why I'm saying I do. So it stood out to me that he listened.
He lived very well. So what I do, there's a system, I'm already used to this system, is I'll talk to his father and tell his father something his father would tell him. Basically, what we're talking about. But the father listens too really good.
Yeah.
But the father listens. If he has something, if it's like, okay, well, I think this go this way, that way, I'll role play with him, with the father, and show him why I can do things this way or that way. He's like, oh, that's okay. Now I see. And then he'll be able to tell his son. Because the son, well, let's say, in this case, Devin listens to his father very well. Okay. They're his father, they're like best friends. They listen to each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference. And that's why I'll go to, I could talk to Devin straight too, but I like to talk to the father because I know that Devin really believes in his father. And whatever his father says, he believes in him. So I make sure that the me and the father have a good relationship where we talk back and forth. And like I said, I can role play with the father too. Like, this is why this is this. This is why this is that. You know what I'm saying? And then the father, oh, okay, I understand. Then he'll relay the message. Make sure he relays the message to Devin.
I think that's really going to be important in this fight, given the nature of the last fight.
Oh no, he's way better now.
Yeah. I think but I'm saying, mentally, I think that Devin will probably want to showcase a different Devin.
Yes, he will. He will.
Yeah,
he will. He will, and mentally he's stronger. And mentally, he has more. I believe that because me being in the camp, it gives him a different. Mentally, it gives him more strength, more power. You know what I'm saying? Not that. I mean, I help him with a lot of different things, but mentally, you know, I'm the type that I'm going to tell you, boom, 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 and this is why this happened. This is why this happened, and he's confident in his moves now. He's confident in, you know, the block and the counter or whatever it is that we're doing. He's confident, and you're gonna see that when he fights.
Yeah, Shane, when fighters usually come into camp, sometimes they could be 15, 20, 25 pounds overweight. And when weight is a factor, depending upon what weight division you're fighting at, you got to, you know, some camps, I know they may have a nutritionist that's feeding them.
He has
that ideal weight.
Yeah.
Come fight night.
Right.
What is it like for them?
So he has a nutritionist, and his nutritionist take care of all that stuff. You know, when I was fighting, I probably wouldn't be probably as big as Devin is, but they have a system. They've been with Devin for, I think, 6 fights or 6 camps, whatever. So they have a system where they come in or they will work out to a certain weight to a week before the fight, and then they drop down, they go right back up. Like I said, I've never did it, so I don't know it, and they've been doing it, so I can't. I don't. That's not my territory. As far as this is concerned, the camp is concerned. I'm different. I grew up a little different. I was probably like 5 pounds away from the thing or something like that. Maybe like 5 pounds away, and then I drop down and they go right back up. They do something different. So, like I said, that's not my expertise. I don't know that if I would have been doing that, what they're doing back when I was fighting, all hell had been ready. Maybe I don't know. I would have been gonna do probably, but
I a guy named B.I.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me. He said one of the secrets to his success is that he said, when I walk around, I'm never much over 5 to 8 pounds of my fighting weight. He said, and the reason why I do that is because now when I go to camp, I'm not worrying about dropping weight and doing that. I can focus on the game plan for my fight.
Right. So that's what
is the key, but how you deal with that.
That's what I would do, right? But the way these nutritionists stuff do, they work out at a certain weight, and then the whole camp, and they stay there, and then all of a sudden they're able to take the sugar, the salt, or something away, and they drop down to 47, and then they go right back up to wherever they was at, where they was working out at. So what I would do, like me and Bernard Hopkins, we work out at our weight, like 5 pounds above, and it would be there. But then when they do it now, they have a different system. That's a new style system. I don't know it. I can't, because I don't know that. They're nutrition. So they go from there to back to there. So he's going to go in there. Okay. He's probably going to the ring about 160, 162. Because he's been working out on 160, right? So he go in the ring about 160. 147 and 160, yeah. Easy. Maybe even 65. I don't know. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They have a range, so back when I was fighting, I would go in there about 157.
Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because what you got to do is make the weight on that night.
Yeah.
And
he's a bigger weight, so
yeah.
Some contracts in certain fights, there's a what do they call it? Rehydrate clause,
right? Yeah.
Where can't go over a certain weight.
Oh, you can't go over 10 pounds, whatever it is. Yeah.
Whatever it is, yeah.
I think that's like IBF, or there's different sanctioned bodies or whatever. Yeah.
But you know what? And one of the major things that we're all concerned about is boxing safety, right? So that's one of the reasons why I know California does it. They don't want you to be too much more than what you should have been on fight time, and that tends to make sense in terms of boxing safety, because some of the issues with boxing, when there's been some issues, is the hydration issues. But because they got hurt because they were dehydrated, so that aspect of it is just as important as all the road work and the sparring and all of that.
True. Because the damage or the fight is won in the last week anyway. People like, you can get sick in the last week because you drop it all the weight, because you drop the weight. That's where you get sick. And then, or your joints, whatever, mess up. Like a whole lot of things happen to you the week of the fight. A whole lot of stuff. So you have to be careful.
James,
I got one more.
You got one more?
I got one more. Steve, what would you say quickly, one of your life lessons that was taught to you in
What?
for the box?
Whoa, life lesson. I think let me think about what a life lesson would be. My life lesson is more on the business side of boxing, and that'll be to watch everything as far as a fighter. Meaning, watch your business, your money, and watch where everything is. So you have the lawyer watching the accountant watching, maybe the manager. You have a circle. So so basically be business savvy and watch because a lot of times fighters don't watch their stuff because they're worried about the fight and worried about other things, so as far as when they're supposed to be doing. And usually that's the manager's supposed. If you have a father or somebody that can to watch or a family member, then you can be cool. But a lot of times some of these fighters don't have that, and you have to be conscious of your surroundings, be conscious of what's yours. Really, because people really will take advantage of you on that end. So,
Shane, we know that you're a busy man. Know you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
we're so happy to have you on board as one of our producers. And we know that whatever you do, you're going to do it to the max, and you're going to do it well. We just appreciate the fact that you're with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it, brother.
I did all that.
All right. All right. All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
You better be safe out there.
Yeah.
I will. Thanks, brother. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for tuning in to The Official Call.
And to stay connected, subscribe to join our official squad below.